Alright. What's up, guys? I'm just getting set up here. Kirk is on my list. I will get to it, my friend. Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure my volume's good. I got a new computer. Someone can just let me know if you can hear me all right. Vault and anonymous trader so far, I see. Awesome. Thanks, Vault. All right, guys. What I'm going to do is just kind of go through a list of charts. You can see on the right-hand side here, I got a list going. It's kind of small for you guys, most likely, but I got about 25 stocks there I'm going to run through. I'm going to start making a list for this week. A bit low. I can go up. I thought it might be a bit low. Give me 1 sec. I'll turn it up just a little bit. All right. That should be a little bit better, hopefully. Yep, that's exactly what it did. I just put the gain up a little bit. And I can go more if needed, but I don't want to blow anyone's ears out either. Just let me know if I need to go up higher. All right, what we're looking to do is create a watch list for this week. Whether it be for tomorrow, the next day, or later in the week. We don't know when the move will happen, but we're going to go ahead and try to catch the move is the goal on any of these stocks we're looking at. So what you guys see right now, anybody that requests a chart, if it's not already on my list on the right, I will add it down here, and I will get to it tonight at some point. I'm going to try to get to all of them. No guarantees, but I'll do my best. And what I'd like to do is on the left-hand chart is the intraday or the 1 minute chart, and on the right-hand side is the daily chart. Those are the two charts I use the most. I do sometimes bounce around on the 2 and the 5 and the 15. During the day, it's very rare unless I'm looking for levels of support or resistance, but mostly I trade on the 1 minute. The yellow line you see on the charts is VWAP. That's one of my key indicators that I keep on the daily, or on the intraday, I mean. For the daily, the only thing I have on is the moving averages at 10, 20, and 50, which is actually not what I want. So I'm going to change that real quick. I want to get rid of... I want to get rid of 50. Because I more or less care. Well, on this, let's throw 100 in there for now. No, I don't even like that. 200 day. Okay. Ren, I will throw it on my list. That one I have not looked at, so I'll take a look at it in a little bit. All right, so Apple is one of the ones I'm targeting for a longer term move. It's creating this beautiful flag here. However, it is trading within this box that you see here. Essentially, it's trading within this right now. So as you can see, it's creating this kind of flag looking action in that box. So if we take and use a trend line here, we can point it a little bit like that, and the upper trend line, it's off a little bit. I feel like on this one, I would have liked to see this touch it a little bit, but it didn't. So you got this flag going here. This could go either way, and again, that's why I put that box there. If you take a look at the box, if you trade within this box until it actually makes a move, you can make money. So you buy the dips, sell anything that goes up, and I think you're good until the market makes a big move. This is, this is going to stay in this box. I do have a feeling it's coming soon. You can see this is getting tighter and tighter here. So I'm thinking the next move over 118-ish should break 120, and at that time, it will probably go for all-time highs again. That's my guess on that one. That's why I'm keeping it on the watch list. I'll look for the 118 break, possibility of going long on that, and go from there. Nothing to keep on the top. So I have a list down here that's my top watch list. This is not a top watch. This is a longer term one I'm looking for, but I like to keep it on every week to make sure that I don't let it fall off. Next one we're going to look at is AMD. This one I am very bullish on. It's creating kind of the same flag and the same trading pattern that we saw on Apple, except this one is in this box here. I like to create boxes around the flags because it's a little easier to see for me. This box here, you can see it's trading within. Well, we're getting to the top of the box here, and I feel like AMD is kind of due. So what we're looking for on this one is for, let me actually do horizontal line, for a break. 88 area, a close above 88.07, which I think we closed just below on Friday. Yes, Dylan, AMD is very juicy. That's going to be one of my big ones coming in to next week, or this week, I should say. So look for that break above. Ideally, I think we're going to hit some resistance right here at this 90 level, because it's a round and whole number. Tends to be a resistance area a lot of times. So look for it to hit a little bit, and you can see it close right on 90 right before it gapped down. So it's going to gap fill, probably hit that resistance, and then it may kind of go sideways for a couple days, and then we should see another leg up. My guess is it makes new highs past 90. We're getting to 100, no doubt. So keep that one close. That's one of my top watches this week, so I'm going to keep it down here for AMD. So let me take a look at this Ren real quick for the person who was that asked about Ren. NP. Let's take a look at Ren real quick. Why is that not working? There it is. Alright, so what are you saying you saw on it? A triple inside day. Yep. So, wow, it literally is a triple inside day. That's pretty crazy. So for those that don't know, inside day is when a candle, after a candle makes stock makes a big move like this or like this, the next day the candle trades within that previous day. So the tails and everything stay within it. As you can see, this is keep doing it. So basically what this is creating now is this coiling pattern to an extent. And you can see trend line. You could probably take, this is going to be really weird because it's going to be small sample size because it's only a couple days, but you got this like, well, technically this should go down to here, but it's going to look weird. So if we keep it inside the breakout area, we got this little flag forming. You could look for a breakout here. What's the volume on this? Looks like it's decent actually. I'm seeing millions here. So there wasn't a ton of volume. Looks like it's fading off. Was this earnings, Ren? I'll add plug down here. I don't have that on my list. I will get to that shortly. Let me check to see if Red was earnings. Hold on a second, guys. I'm curious what caused that spike. Earnings not there. It's weird. There's no news on it either. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it's a China auto and truck dealership. So my guess is that's running with EVs. I would not play this. Sorry, I didn't realize that. EVs are hot right now. They're too hot. I think you might want to stay away from that. Great pattern, but it's a tough one. You could play if EVs start going again. You could play this. This will be a good one to play, but otherwise it's an avoid unless you're really watching it. All right, I'm going to continue up my list. I'll work in your guys' requests as we go. Amazon. Been watching Amazon for a while. It's a bigger name. Obviously, everyone can't trade this one. It's expensive. I think Amazon goes with Apple when Apple goes, and that's kind of a whole market move, if you will. Again, showing the same kind of trading area that Apple is in. We're in this box right now, consolidating. So we're looking for a move higher or lower based on that. I'm not going to give any levels here, but you can draw lines. Not a main watch again. It's just something I want to keep on my radar. You can see that's not even really a trend, honestly. Just watch it. I think Amazon, they're going to kill it this year. JD's on my list. I'll get to that shortly. Amazon, just keep it in the back of your head. I think it does make a big move. I think we get back over 3550, 3500, 3550 area. Not short term, but early next year. That'll be one on my radar. Probably my top watch coming into Monday is this apps. I'm already going to put it on my top watch list. This one is set up beautifully. Doesn't look like much if you're looking at the daily. It has made a really good run. You can see, guys, it was down here at $5 a share almost. It is now up to $40 a share, give or take. Big run since June. Big run. Is it over? Is it too much? No. And the reason I say that is because this is when it was too much, and it came back, and you saw it is recovering big time, and it's dropping again, and I think it's going to recover again. So, how do we play this? So, I would look for, let's take a trend line here. We got let's bring this up here. We got this pseudo line here. You can tell the tails are going underline. I do realize that, so bear with me here. And we got this line here. So we got this small little flag going on here, but it's ascending. So I really like it. I really like the chances of this. Actually, I'm pretty sure if we take a look, no, I'm pretty sure this might gap above the breakout on Monday morning. If that's the case, any kind of dip, as long as the trend holds, you'll want to go long. That's kind of my thought process and why this one is my main watch for Monday morning, guys. I think this is going to have a big move. I think 45 easily in one day once it breaks out. And I think 50 ultimately over 2 days, 3 days maybe, once it does do the breakout. The volume's there. I just think, you're going to see something big here. You can see it fading off again. We're going to get a big spike like this. Or this, and you're going to see this nice move on this chart again when people start buying it. So keep that one on your watch. All right, looks like we got a couple more. I'm going to go to a couple viewer ones. All right, the first one was Plug. Plug has had a good run as well. Looks like it gapped up, faded, and then consolidated all day. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock. So didn't really consolidate all day. It just kind of closed exactly where it opened. If we look at the daily, do we see anything on there? Tough. I would say wait on this Plug. I'm forcing it. I don't even see anything, honestly. You got, so this is the only support I see right now, short term. If you take a look right here, you can see this closed right on this 25, and this hit here, this hammer candle hit 25 and then bounced. That's the only real support I see on plug. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I could see playing here is if we get a red open, bounces off that 25 area again, and then rallies green for a red-green move and continuation higher, maybe. Otherwise, I think this needs to consolidate longer. I think this needs a few more days. Obviously, I could be wrong, but you can see it does take a couple days, consolidates, and then goes again, consolidates, goes again, consolidates, goes again. So I would just suspect that that's going to be the same here. EE, we kind of just started. It's okay, but I'm going to be on for a while, guys, so don't you worry. The other user, I'm adding any ticker that's added. I am adding to my list here, guys, to go over at some point. I may not say it right away, but I promise you, I'll get to all of them. This is SPY. All right, next one from the users, SWIR. Huge volume. What was this? Is this earnings on SWIR? Where was the candle from? Let me just take a look. SWIR. We got November 12th before the market was the earnings. That's not the earnings. It's odd. What the heck? Is this another? This is a wireless for Canada. Anyone know why this gapped up so big? Is there news on Sierra Wireless rose after analyst? Oh, someone initiated coverage on the communications equipment company with a buy rating of $20 price target. That's why that one's up. All right, so that's good. So we got two big candle. Then you can see here it gapped down on that candle, and then it kind of went, it made its way back to red green, but then dropped again back to the 15 area. I would watch this one. I think it's going to consolidate the next couple of days. It could do two things. You could just go, gap and go, come Monday, tomorrow, or it can consolidate for a couple days. But watch it. This 1550 area is a good spot to go long if it stays within a 50 cents to $1 range, I'd say, because it has some range on it for a long position. Because if it breaks at 1550, it should go higher. That's a tough play, honestly. I think there's better setups out there, but interesting one to say the least. Thanks, Carson. Yeah, I just saw that. Looks like Netflix and Costco added to the list, guys. All right. I'm gonna do SNDL really quick. The last user one. I'll get back to my list for a couple. But SNDL, this isn't for everyone, guys. This is a very much situational play. So this is gonna run on solar news, and that's why we got this big run up on what was it, Friday. Solars were taking off. The chart is decent, so I was buying this back in the 20 range. I think I've had an 18 average and a 24 average at one point in time. I did sell into the spikes, into the 60s, 50s areas. I've made a lot of money on this stock in the last month. But with that said, you do not want to buy anything when it's up here. Just wait. People will forget about it, and when it consolidates, and like it was for these couple of days, that's when you buy this type of stock. And you know what? Worst case, if it goes down to 20 and breaks, you get out for a 2-cent loss. But if you catch it, you're catching 10 to 15 cents. Not for everyone. I don't recommend it unless you know what you're doing. But the key on this one is going to be, this is going to grind more if solars continue. When it breaks this, I bet you this hits $1, honestly. This is a known runner. I mean, if you look back here, this thing ran crazy at one point in time, even further back than this. I don't know if my chart doesn't go back that far, but it's pretty nuts, that stock. So anyways, irrelevant for most people, to be honest. BBY actually happens to be the next user one and the next one on my list, so let's catch that one real quick. Dylan, I see your request. I will get to that. All right, so BBY, I am long this one, just to let you guys know. I went long this one on, what was it, Thursday, maybe? Or, I'm not, sorry, Wednesday. This one is interesting. So when I went long initially, what I was looking for was a gap fill. So if you look, we got this line here, but better look at this, at the gap, is if we take a rectangle and just kind of draw it there. So you see this gap, this box right here that we got, that's a gap. The gap down and went down, right? And I believe that one might have been earnings. I'm not 100% sure, but it kind of stayed strong, sold off again, stayed strong, didn't quite sell off, and then kept going higher. So it got to this resistance at 22, and now it's kind of just lingering. It did break above, as you can see here, and it wanted to go. However, it got shot back down. The fact that it consolidated and held and didn't completely sell off on Friday, like I thought it was going to, and I was going to take a loss. So my stop loss on this, guys, just so you're aware, if we take a look at the 5-minute chart here, from the previous day, I was using, when I had gone long here, this was the 25th, which was the Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, when I went long. I said, all right, well, I'm going to use a stop loss. I think I went long at like 22.15 or 22.14, something like that. My thought process was, all right, well, I'm going to use a stop of 21.50 right here. And the reason why is, if you take a look at this chart, you will see when it broke out, it retested here and held, and it came back here, and it did dip down, but it came back and held within the minute or 5-minute chart here. And then if you look on the day I bought it, it also almost retested it and bounced right off of it, and then stayed above it here on that next dip. It stayed above it on this sell-off on the morning on Friday, and it's kind of consolidating. So right now it's consolidating in this range. My expectation is this is going to break, and then it's going to make a nice big candle up to that 24 mark. That's what I'm going for on it. That's what I'm playing it. My stop is that 21.50. I have a good till cancel stop order on it, so I don't have to watch that stock, because honestly, it could grind sideways for days. But as soon as it breaks that 21.50, watch how fast that drops. We'll be under 21 in no time. But that's BBUI. That's what I'm playing on it. So to be continued on that one. Looks like a couple other ones. RTL, another pot stock. We'll get to that one shortly. Cake. Let's take a look at Cake real quick, guys. I like this chart. They had the sell-off, and they have just been grinding back, and then they had this giant gap up here. I think that might have been earnings. I'm going to double check right now. Let me just double check, see if Cake was earnings. October 29th. Yeah, so that was the earnings gap up. So this made a nice peg, or what I like to call a peg. Not ideal, because you would like to see it close up here somewhere. But the next day it did go above where it closed, and then it dropped. And then we came back, we tested. We didn't really test anything. The 10-day maybe was close by, but it didn't really test it. And it kind of went back up, gapped up again. Now we got this flag that's generated in here. Oops. Now we got this flag right here. And it's got this two kind of inside candles brewing right here, which is what I really like about it. It's 2 inside candles at the top of a breakout. Doesn't get much better than that. And as far as in terms of catching a breakout, I would probably go long with it as soon as the market opens Monday morning, is my guess, or very close to it. I'm hoping for another gap down or something along those lines and a red green move. That's my goal on this one. I'm putting it down here in the top watch. It's one of the 3 so far. That's my top watches for tomorrow. And if you look at the 1 minute chart or intraday chart from yesterday, pretty tight consolidation. Stayed within $1, maybe even less. Got to 36.98 and 37.70, so less than $1, 80-cent range. Tight coiling. It's gonna go. Just watch that one tomorrow. Next user one asked was KZIA. This is, if I'm not mistaken, a Chinese car? Nope, I'm wrong. Healthcare. Biotech company. They must have had some news. Looks like clinical hold. Yeah, they had some news. So, looks like this is all news driven here for the most part, which is fine. I personally am not buying any kind of COVID news driven stocks at the moment, or at least to my knowledge. I try not to. And the reason being is I've lost too much on them already in the past few months, and it's just the risk to reward is not worth it for me. Some people love it. I do not. From a chart perspective, what am I looking at here? Let's take a look. We have a clear kind of support level here, if you want to say, at 890, 899. We'll say it's 9 for sake of argument. Clear level of support. Tested it twice there and another time here. You could say that there should have been a breakout here. Maybe not. But what you do see is, again, you got this big candle, you got an inside day candle, and then you got an inside day candle again. Good chance this explodes higher tomorrow as well. Again, not my type of play, but if you're playing it, I would definitely watch this right out the gate. If it gaps above, go long. If you get a dip, go long. Use the previous day's close as your level of support. If you want to keep a very tight stop, that's what I would do. So you're somewhere in the 980 range. I know that's super tight, but that's the only way I'd play that one. But from a chart perspective, it looks decent. It looks like it's ready to go higher in my book. Realistically, this 1150 area, it will go crazy if it gets over that. But if you want to try to get in before that, you want to be buying it right out the gate, most likely, on that one, because I don't think it will stick around too long if it is making the move. All right. Someone asked for SPY. I don't like to chart SPY personally. I'll take a look at it right here. We're at all-time highs pretty much. My guess is, so before I even looked at this chart, on Friday, I thought for sure what they were going to do, since we're end of month tomorrow, I think they are going to rug pull us and cause a little panic in the market in order to set up for a really good December. That was my thought process. Looking at this chart, I'm going to say, and let's take a look at the futures real quick while we're on this. Futures show S&P's down 0.24%, which is not really much. Nasdaq's up, Dow's down, Russell's down. Yeah, maybe we get a gap down and then new highs. Red green move, new highs. Maybe we get a gap down and the run pull, like I said. I'm not sure. We are at a resistance level right here, though, for sure. And I can guarantee you bulls and bears are going to be fighting this level as much as they can. So I'll let them fight, and I'll just play the stocks as I can. And we'll go from there. I added G to the list Marlene. I will get to it shortly. So back to my list as we're going. Like I keep flipping back and forth my list to user requests. I will get to them all. Very nice setup here in this Chewy. I don't know if you guys are following this one lately, but it made a beautiful move on Friday, and it is going for all-time highs. What I'd like to see is a nice little gap down tomorrow in order to get long. I don't know that we'll get it, though. I think we're going to get a gap up over the breakout. So one to watch. It may consolidate for a couple days as well. What I hope it doesn't do is what it did here. If you take a look, it went gapped up, had a nice day, and then boom, it came back down 2 days in a row. I'm hoping that's not the case for that. I think it should be strong enough to get through at all-time highs. We do get through that. We're going to 80 most likely. So that's one to watch tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be one of my top watches, but I also don't want it to fall off, so I'll keep it on my list. All right, got it. EE. The next one from my list is the CRSR. This one is interesting. So this is a good breakout. Great run up, overextended, falls back, pretends like it's going to go up, falls back again. What I'd like to see with this one, we're real close to this MA, right? This 10-day. I would love a gap down, wash out. Okay, $3, $4, maybe $5, $6. I don't care how big it is. But I want stops to be hit, and then that's when you go long. You risk a couple dollars. The closer we get to this 20-day MA, the more I like it. But in the end, what I want it to do is recover. Whatever MA it gets is its closest to, I want it to recover and hold either one. That's a good spot to realize that, hey, this stock might hold this area. So if we get a gap down, holds, maybe closes at 35, let's say. The next day is, as soon as it breaks above this tomorrow's high, I will be going long because that's when the bounce phase happens. So this one is on watch, most likely not a trade tomorrow, but maybe a Tuesday or Wednesday trade. So keep it on your watch list, and we'll see what happens with that one. But I'm expecting a solid $10, $15 bounce on that one once it does do its thing. I think there's a lot in this company. I think they're undervalued, but that's a whole nother story. Just based on the chart, look for the bounce. Next user one was Netflix, which actually is on my list as well, I believe. But we'll go ahead and take a look at it. Netflix is like Apple and like Amazon is right now. And if you missed the beginning, I'll show you again. It's trading in a rectangle kind of area. Okay. So you got this box, and it bounces off the bottom, and it bounces off the top. Until it does something outside of that, it's irrelevant to me. Personally, I need it to bounce good. I think your risk reward right here, if you were to go long, $4.95, let's say tomorrow morning or something like that, that if it breaks this $4.65 area, you're going to stop out, right? Because it's breaking out of this box, and chances are it's going to go down to the 200 day. It's going to test that 200 day because this 200 day is catching up. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down to the 200 day before reversing higher. I do think it gets up there. I think it gets back to this 570, 600 area for all-time highs, but it's not right now. You could play this box if you wanted to. If you're a patient person, buy the dips, sell the spikes until it makes the move. And just keep rinsing and repeating. I mean, it's very, very easy to play that if that's what you want to do, or if that's what you have time to trade. You trade you, because not everything I trade or how I trade works for everyone. And that's one thing you got to remember. When trading, you have to find your patterns and what works for you and what you're successful in. Hold on a second, I need to take a drink. I'll add BMI on the list. We'll do another user one. Cost. Let's see. Is that all-time highs for cost? It might be. So the only thing with all-time highs, so if this is all-time highs, this is a 400 magnet in my book. I think this gets to the 400 level in the next couple days. But once you're at all-time highs, I feel like unless there's some kind of big catalyst, you don't know when it stops going high. It could go crazy and go to 500. We don't know. But we don't know if there's what catalyst is going to cause that, because you're at all-time highs. So even if like earnings came out and they were super good, this stock could drop because it's overvalued and it was overpriced. It was already priced in and people are expecting more. So I don't like going long all-time highs very often. There is one that I am considering, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But I don't know. No play for me. I like the trend. As long as it holds the trend or continues to hold the trend, you can play it. I'm sure if you were to map out some kind of trend line from down here up, you could see, I don't know. I'm just roughing it right now, guys. Don't quote me on this. But you got this like trend going up, right? So you could get a pullback to 75 here, maybe the 20 day or something like that, and go along there, and then as long as it holds the trend, just keep going. They have a special dividend. Is that what you're saying? On cost? Is that like just announced or something? Dividend earnings are the 10th of December. Dividend. I don't know. I don't see anything, any news or anything. I don't know what you mean by that. I apologize. Anyways, so yeah, like I said, not something I love, but there's nothing wrong with it for sure. Kind of consolidated, went down. After it looked like it gapped over all-time highs. Which if it trended down, I don't really like it. But that's just the 1 minute. The daily shows more. Oh, okay. So okay. Well, then that could have been people buying in. That's why it gapped up. Yeah. I don't know. Earnings coming. Maybe you probably get an earnings run up. So maybe look for dips, buy it, and play the earnings run out. But I would get out before earnings get there. Like I said, earnings could be ridiculous. This could be at 500, but it's not worth the risk reward in my book. Yeah, QQQ. I did see your comment there. I'll take a look at QQQ in a second. I know it's not the ticker that you're asking for. I know what you're saying, but I'll show you something on that one in a little bit. LMND. This one's interesting. This is I can, if it doesn't fit on my chart, it's considered an IPO. If it doesn't have a year of trading, it's an IPO for me. So this is still an IPO. A lot of eyes on this one. That's the only thing I will say about this. You had a nice trend break here, but what was ugly is this candle. And why did that candle happen? Was there news? I heard this ticker going around a lot. Stock falls even as results beat expectations. Yeah, so they had good earnings, but people were expecting more. This is a perfect example. They had great earnings. I already went over apps. That was one of the first ones I went over. Nick, apologies. So LMND, a great example. They had great earnings, so it started to go up, right? Well, look, it sold off because people were expecting more because the IPO there's people sitting on chairs and they're going, okay, well, wait for the earnings, and then as soon as they go, it'll blast up and then we'll sell into it. Well, it didn't blast up like they wanted it to, so they sold, and that's why we got this. Well, obviously the buyers outweighed the sellers, and now it's going up. So it got above this level, 70, whatever this was, which is nice. I think your next level to look at on this one, this looks like it might have free ride right to here, whatever this is, 78 area. So look for like a red green move on this tomorrow or something like that. No problem, Nick. Jason, I haven't covered JD. So yeah, that's your next level. I don't think you have much resistance up to that point. I don't know the company too well. I have to look into it a little bit, but this could be one of those ones that just, if it keeps going, it's gonna, it will skyrocket. But we don't know for sure. So, next one. I will do another user request, which was TLRY. Pot stock. They run together. So TLRY ACB is another one. And SNDL, which we talked about earlier. Crap. So I misinformed you guys earlier. I said it was solar. It's not. I was thinking Sun W. So I'll show you that one after. But so ACB, TLRY, SNDL for the lower one. You look at the pattern, they're all literally the same. They're literally all the same patterns. Look. Boom. And ACB. Boom. So, let's throw in one more here for you guys. GRWG, which also runs with them to an extent. So, this one is driving all the other ones. Okay? So, what's going to happen here, because this is the leader, I feel like, right now. This is going to get a big pullback soon. There's going to be a blow off on this soon. We're going to probably see $40 a share on this tomorrow. I have a feeling the blow off's tomorrow. We'll probably see $40 a share real quick, and then it's just going to dump. And then we can probably see a dump back to anywhere in this 25 to 28 range, is my guess. This just can't keep going like this. It's too steep. So when that happens, that breaks all these charts. So no matter what pattern we find in TLRY or ACB, for example, right now, this is only as good as that other stock, in my opinion. Now, this is just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive that when we see that break, you will see this stock go drop back to the 7 range. I'm not going to play it either way, personally. The only way I play this is if it's a day trade and I see consolidation at some point in the trade. Let's see if we can see any of this. They all have the same pattern. They all did the same exact thing. There's obviously some news that came out here that I may not be aware of, because they all did the same thing. Kind of went nuts at the same time. But I just feel like if this GRWG goes, they all go. So keep an eye on that. I don't have much more to say on pot stocks. I'd like them kind of long term. Certain ones, ACB probably being one of the better ones. However, I don't like it at this level. If it gets back to 7, I may think about stashing them away for 2021. But otherwise, it's just a day trade for me, mostly. Alright, so that was TLRY. I'm sorry I'm not giving you a pattern or any kind of support levels or anything, but I think giving you the idea of what's going to happen with that other one gives you okay, so there you go. So the bill is getting voted on. So that changes a little bit. You're going to get that blow off, and GRWG might be when that legalization hits. If it does get legalized, these all go nuts. So watch for consolidation. Watch for Ryan. I'll get the Sono. That's one of my top picks for tomorrow. watch for consolidation, watch for, a move higher on that news. So, but on the same front, it's like playing earnings. If it gets denied, you're going to lose big time because everyone's going to dump the stocks. So it's up to you how you want to play it. I personally will not, unless it's a day trade because of a pattern I see on the intraday chart. So go from there. I'm going to skip around a little bit. On my end, I will get to all the user ones as I have said along. So if you have a chart you want to take a look at, just let me know. AQB. We'll take a look at that in a minute. I want to skip to someone mentioned JD was one of them. Let me just make sure. Yeah, let's take a look at JD. This is going to be one of my top ones for this week too. This lines up with like basically apps, almost the same kind of pattern. We kind of get this depending on how you look at it. I kind of avoid tails a lot of times in my flags, but if you take a look, you can see we got this ascending pattern here, and when it does break, it's all-time highs. So I like it a lot. Watch, we got these tiny candles here on gap downs, gap ups type of deals. I think we get a bigger candle coming out of this flag tomorrow or the next day. So this is one of my main watches. I'm going to put it down here on my main watch. So that's my 4th main watch for tomorrow. I try to keep my main watches under like 10 because it's really hard once you get above 10 to watch a bunch of stocks, I feel like. Get to that one. There's the other one I want to get to real quick. Is this Sono? I'm real big on this one, guys. Some people aren't. This is also considered an IPO in my book. And this is what I was talking about in terms of something exploding once it gets past its highs. Basically, you can see that this one, yes, it was earnings that caused this. However, it went big when it did go. So, lot of investors still in this. So I think that's why this is taking a little longer to form here. But what I saw in this originally, you take a look. This was before this candle the other day, okay, guys? So bear with me. I'll readjust it in a second. But we had this like quick pattern here. Actually, I'm gonna bring this down. We had this pattern like that, like this big tight flag going into Friday. And I thought for sure when we got past this 2150 area, this thing was gone. This was taken off. But that wasn't the case. And I think that is due to the amount of people that are still in it from the IPO. So what we do is we now have to adjust this flag a little bit, and not always the best, but it's still a real decent flag in my book, and I still have a lot of confidence in it. So at this point, I think our resistance level, our biggest resistance, once this gets a little volume, is going to be this 22 area. 2220 probably is what it really is. You got almost, I say that, but I also think that we'll get a little bit of trouble here at the 22 even number level, zoom in here, as well as the 2250 area, which is above what it was before. So you got 3 levels there, and I realize that's kind of gets a little crowded here, but this, I'm gonna guess, is gonna be 25 by the end of the week. That's my thought process on this stock. So I am already long in both of my accounts. I do have room to add, and I do plan to add once it breaks above this 2220 area. That's my add spot most likely. So keep an eye on it. Held nicely, even though it dipped. It held nicely on Friday, which I like. Take a look at the 5-minute. You can see this 2080 area. I'm giving it below that realistically. 2080 is a good stop for most people, but I will probably give it a little bit more. 2030 area maybe if it needs it, but I don't think it's going to need it. I think we're going to get a nice little breakout on this one. So watch that one this week. And I'm going to put that down here because that's one of my main watches. All right, let's get to a couple user ones. The next one was GE. GE. So energy and a couple other stocks have been going off. So this reminds me of, let's put some here too, which is not really energy. Halliburton. Kind of reminds me of that. All these are kind of this area is kind of starting to take off. So, GE is kind of all over the place. It's got this nice trend. I'm not gonna lie. There's a nice trend going up here. But it's too much too soon in my book. You know, I would have liked to see like, hey, it kept this nice trend line here. Okay, I guess I can't change that once there it is. It's got this nice trend line going, and you know it continues up this trend line, but it's not. It's higher. So if we take the other side of it and we go up like this, we're outside of it, big time. Yeah, I think this needs to cool off a lot. A lot. So I could see this coming all the way back to 10 as first level, 9 as the second level, and testing this 20-day. But for sure, the 10-day, if the 8-day is a little higher, the 8 days probably at about 10, 20 maybe. We'll get to that easily. This definitely needs to cool off. I don't see a long position in this one. If anything, I see a short. Let's put this gap fill back down to 10 area. Some consolidation needs to happen and let these MAs catch up before I'd go long on this one. EOSE was another one someone mentioned. I gotta pull up FinViz for this because I don't know anything about this stock. So give me 1 second. EOSE. Looks like we got no news. Is this a new company? Yeah, it looks like an IPO maybe. Electrical equipment and parts in the USA. Industrials. Agreement could boast solar and battery. All right, so this is a solar play. All right, cool. So now I got a kind of a basis on it. So solar play, probably getting some love from the other solars. Obviously, good volume. I mean, I can't complain about that volume that's there. We got some. That could be some institutional buying in here somewhere. That amount of volume. This is the breakout volume for sure. And it's continued, and then we're getting some fall off here. And I think that will continue a little bit. Looks like we had up, down, up, down. You could argue there's a pattern here. You know, you got this right here. And you got this right there. Is it pretty? No. Does it work? Probably. Would I play it? No, not this time. Probably needs a cool off. Think it's probably overdone. Could still run with solars. Solars are going to take off. So let me just jump real quick. I'll put RV, LV on the list here. Let me just jump to couple solar plays that I was going to bring up, and I'll show you how you could play this based on those. Because this EOSE is obviously not a front runner. They're a secondary kind of last resort solar play, I feel like. I could be completely wrong. I don't know enough about the company, but I like JKS, and I like SBWR, which I feel like is a little overextended, and I like Run. So let's take a look at these ones. So first up, let's take a look at JKS. Am I long this one? I might have sold it, but I'm gonna get back in. If I did, if I did sell it, I'll get back in. If I didn't sell it, I may add to it. It just depends. But you can see this has a clear bottoming going on here. Okay. We know this level is support now. So this is almost a box play as well, kind of like the other big names, but I do like this one for more of a breakout because if you take a look, this was pretty much the breakout area, kind of. Well, you could argue this. Hold on. This is the flag. Okay. So it broke out. 70 was the breakout on Friday. And it kind of, when it went red green over here, if you take a look at Friday's chart over here on the 1 minute, it went red green, kind of blew up from there. It did come back and test VWAP and continued, and then dropped below VWAP before the close and kind of consolidated. Looks like it closed just below 7250. What I would look for is either another red green move like this one did for a long position, or you could wait for it to break above the 70, whatever the high was, 7650 area from Friday. You obviously miss a chunk of the move waiting for that because you got a $4 difference there. So I would prefer to see it go red to green and run again, just like it did here. So we'll watch that one. Not a main watch per se, but if I'm already in it, it will become a main watch, but we'll see. The other one was SPWR. Way kind of going crazy here. You can see it's probably overextended at this point. Needs a little consolidation. You can see it's been doing it all along. So we got a breakout here with a consolidation period. We got a breakout here, right here, and a consolidation period, and another breakout there, and a consolidation period, and another breakout there. So I'm expecting a consolidation period. Look for a pullback to, I don't think it's going to get back to the 10-day, unless it has a couple of very small candles. Maybe an 8-day it hits or something along those lines before continuing higher. But solar's big. I don't think it's going anywhere, and I think these names run all through next year, personally. Where was the other one? JKS, we did. SPWR. Crap, where is it? Run, that's it. And run. Okay, here's another one. Overextended, pulled back, consolidated, and now we're going for a new breakout. So I would say let this consolidate again, and then it should make a move higher, kind of like we were watching. I think this is a nice consolidation period here until it got back and filled that gap. You can see that gap down here. When it did, it now filled that gap, and we'll get a little consolidation. I think this is the start of a consolidation here. We'll probably get a few days worth, and then another leg up. So watch for dips on this one to go long as well. All right, back to a couple user ones. Let me just put in the new ones. FWONK. Okay, where were we? BMI. BMI, let's see what kind of company this is. Looks very low volume to me. Average volume is 156. Yeah. So they're electrical equipment and parts, industrials. That's an avoid for me, unfortunately. It is getting towards all-time highs, it looks like. I think it's all-time highs. Yeah, all-time highs. That's an avoid for me, unfortunately. Some people may like it. I do not. I mean, your clear-cut area on it, if you're playing it, is that 82.90. Looks like. Break of that, it's going higher. Looks like it's having some trouble breaking it here the last couple of days. Might do it, might not. Not sure. I don't think there's enough volume, though. I think you need twice that volume for it to be relevant. My personal opinion. Next one, user one is AQB. ARC has been buying a ton of them in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. ARC is behind a lot of these names, a lot of these low float kind of names. I try to avoid them. If you can catch the momentum on a breakout, then it's worth it. But if we take a look, I'll just chart this one real quick a little bit. You got some kind of support there. You got resistance here. which was, you could tell right here, tested it. It closed above it a couple times and broke through. Tested it here, broke through but failed. If it gets through that with volume, you could go long because chances are it's going to break out above 525 here. If it does that, it needs a lot of volume though. It needs like a volume day like this for that to happen. So, I don't know. Not one I'd play, but some people love these ones. And they play it for the buyout, which would skyrocket the price, most likely. Next one, RVLV. Let's take a look. All right. We are sitting at... Let me just pull this one up real quick on my computer. We got earnings came out November 11th, which would have been here. That's that spike. Evolve Group, Internet Retail. Getting towards, I think they're near all-time highs. No, they're not all-time highs. But they are considered an IPO. So, with that said, you have a clear area here at 24 for short term. Okay. 24 level, somewhere in there to break above. But not only that, and I can't show it on this chart because it doesn't go back that far, you have another level at 25 you got to worry about just above that. So what I'd like to see is this nice little break of this, maybe consolidate between 24 and 25 for a couple days, and then break higher above 25 and take a run even higher. I'm going to guess they're going to need a catalyst bigger than earnings to do that move. So, but I don't know that for sure, unless a lot of momentum comes in this name. They do trade pretty high volume, looks like, but it's mostly around earnings. They have this one off here because it broke resistance. There must have been some kind of news there. You had a little bit of institutional buying here, maybe, probably. Not 100% sure what that was, but there's this little volume spike. But that other volume is all earnings. Earnings run up, earnings, and then earnings dump. Consolidation, and then it went higher. Yeah, I think it goes higher. Not anything I would play. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of playing all-time highs. I'm adding that one to my list. RVP. FWONK. I have no clue what this is. Never heard of it. But let's take a look. Formula One Group Broadcasting. Oh. Formula One Network, maybe? Anyways. Okay. Let's take a look. Daily chart. We got, so it's obviously sell off March, COVID, whatever. Run up, sell off, run up, made new highs, came back, consolidated. So this is like the same kind of pattern we're seeing in a lot of these. If we take the boxes, the rectangles, you can kind of draw it. So you got consolidation period. You got a big consolidation period here, big, before the breakout. And then it came back and retested. Which I would also consider a consolidation period, and then it broke out again. And now we're in another consolidation period here. So, what does this mean? This means that on the short term, if we take a look up here, we can use some trend lines to find some support levels. Oops, that did not work. Not much there, but there's trading within a little channel here. And you could trade this channel for the breakout if you wanted to, if there is one. So you got this little, it's not much. It really isn't, but it's there. Buy the dip, sell the spike type of deal. I think your breakout's above 43 at this level, 43.25 maybe. The real breakout above 43.50. If you get that, you're probably going back to where it was, 47 area, pre-COVID. But that's all I really have for that one. Yeah. Not much there. Nothing wrong with it. That's going to be a slower play, I think, if you do play it. But you got clear line here. You can basically use 41 as your stop loss and go long anywhere between 41 and 43 before it breaks out. You know, it's not a bad one. I just don't feel like there's a lot of momentum behind it. You got trailing off volume for the most part. You got some spikes randomly, which is interesting. If they were all green, like this one, if these were green, I'd be more interested in the stock from a consolidation, like a institutional buying perspective. But I don't see it. And the last user one I have right now is RVP. Let me just pull up that one because I'm not familiar with that either. I probably am, but retractable technologies, medical equipment, healthcare. 20% short float, which is nice. Average volume kind of low, 665, but the volume seems to be there lately. It looks like. Nice run up. So nothing, and then all of a sudden it had stuff, which interesting. So I wonder what caused that back in April. It had like no news this year. Dividend. They declared a dividend in March, so that might have sparked a little bit, but this spike. But this big one in May was from, I don't even know. Doesn't say. Might have been earnings. Anyways, so broke out. Did break here. Oops, crap. Thought I had the other one on. It broke this line here. We know that. We can see that. But then it kind of just failed and came back. So at this point, what I would say is this is probably going to test this. What you look for is one more down day, probably. A little test of this 10-day average, maybe back to 11. And if it recovers it, it's a good area to go long for possibility of going back up higher. As long as the volume stays in there, it should be good. But if this volume just starts to fade away like this has been doing, then I would avoid it altogether. But it worked. I just don't like that it broke and barely made a move and just faded. I think it needs to consolidate more up here. I think this might have been too big of a move, too quick for it. But worth a watch if you want to see if you can catch that on the dip. All right, we got NVIDIA is on my list, so I'll do that one next. And then hum. All right, NVIDIA. I am long NVIDIA from 531 as of right now. I would say this is in the same box as Amazon and Netflix and a couple others. But we got this box. I would even say the box is up here somewhere or so. We got this box it's trading in. Hits the top, hits the bottom, bounces. Gets close to the top, gets close to the bottom, bounces. Hits the top, comes back down. Kind of consolidating. So we're within that box. But in that box, we're also seeing this. A little trend line. Something along the lines of that. Because again, I don't care about the tails most times. You'd be there, but I would argue you could call that an anomaly because that's kind of a failed. I don't know what that would have been. But for sake of showing, I think you get a real good interest from people if it breaks above that level versus that level. I think if this one goes, that one goes. So, anyways, I'll get rid of that one because it's not really true. But you got this flag going, so your risk reward right here is real good in my opinion. My average of 531, I like it. I know 520 breaks. There's a good chance I'm getting out at 510. At the worst case, so I lose $21 a share, which isn't percentage-wise is not much. But on the flip side, this could get back to highs, and we'll be over 600, and that's $70, $80 a share. And you're 4-1 on your risk reward. So I like this one. This is one of my ones I'm already long term, very long term, and then I'm long short term right now from 531. So that's a good one to watch if it gets some momentum and starts going. Even on like the very short term, if you could draw, oh hey, we got that chart, and we got this little one here, and you're in this little flag, right? So you can even draw that right there, and you can go. I got Momo on my list. Sorry, someone did type that earlier, but I thought they meant momentum. That's my bad, James. That was you. Sorry about that, man. I will get to that for you. I'll do that one next because you said that one a while ago. I apologize. But yeah, I like it in video. Let's jump to Momo real quick because I skipped on James. I apologize for that, my friends. Let me pull up their information on Finviz because I don't know much about them. Internet Content and Information in China company. Short float's only 3%. We got December 1st before the market opening earnings. Red flag right there for me. You got to be careful with the earnings. What was this gap down in September? Was that earnings? September earnings. Yep, 15% gap down. So this is a gap fill down from earnings. So let earnings play out on this one. Because they'll be out December 1st in 2 days, Tuesday, before the market opens. I would not play this ahead of time. There is obviously, if earnings weren't a factor, you have a clear bottom pattern right here because you have almost like a 2B reversal where we got to the bottom, came up, it did break where the previous low, but it came back and made a high. So it's a 2B reversal. It's great area to go long is when you see this happen here. However, you can see it came back, tested, came back, tested, came back, tested, and if the earnings weren't there, you could go long here as a good risk reward perspective, and this probably could break out and maybe hit 17 or something like that. However, since earnings are a day and a half away, I would not touch it. You could get an earnings run up maybe if you want to play that from a daily chart perspective. You get a nice little dip you can buy and then play the earnings run up. You could do that, but it's an avoid until the earnings come out and get factored in. You may get a gap up. Oh yeah, that's a consolidation box for sure. But like I said, it's kind of not the same. So let's take a look. Yes, you got a box here, right? You got a box. That's too high. Hold on a second. So you got this box right here. It's trading in. Yep, you got a box there. But, so let's take a look. So this is basically just opposite of a trending up stock. This is a trending down stock, obviously. And you got basically a box here. Well, I would say that box is more like that. That's a one-off. Sometimes that happens. You get a box here. You got a nice box. Well, that one probably goes more like that. And up a little bit. Maybe. Yeah, something like that. Nice consolidation box there. And you had a box. Oops. Possible reversal box here, right? Because your box is kind of, it got a little closer in range. Something like that, I'll just say. So, but as soon as it dropped out of that box, you saw it happen. It fell off a cliff. So that could happen here. If earnings are bad, it could hit this and fall off a cliff. If earnings are good, it could gap up above this and then just spike and then hit some resistance somewhere in here. You could draw your resistance lines or whatever. Yeah, so James, earnings, because it's 2 days away, literally. If you had like a week maybe to play this, you could go long and see if you get up that level in a week. But yeah, the earnings it's 50-50. And especially a China company that's trending down. I don't know that I'd want to be long for earnings on that regardless. So I would avoid for me personally. All right, guys, I'm adding those in now. CELH and CCL. Going back to Hum, because I skipped over that one. Let's take a look. All right. Healthcare plans, USA, November 3rd earnings. Some very small short float. Average trading is about 700,000. I don't know. Let's see if there's a pattern here. We got definitely some box action going on. I mean, this is like, I don't even know what's going on with this. You got huge consolidation period. If you look at this, that should have been a breakout, right? But it failed back into the box, and then all of a sudden it just went up. Like, it must have been the earnings. That was the earnings. Sorry. So that, yeah, you had this huge consolidation period over a huge amount, ton of months. Yes, it was uptrending during that period. So now let's take a look at the actual trend line, because you do still see, I mean, this is technically your breakout area, right? You got a clear-cut line here, trending up, and you got not a real clear-cut line here, but something like that, let's say, right? Obviously, this broke out of the trend here on that earnings, but it failed real quick. Now it's coming back down, and that scares me a little bit. I would say from a risk-reward perspective, if you're playing this, you're at the bottom of the channel, and there's a clear cut loss or stop loss. Use 400. Realistically, if 400 breaks, you lose some money, but you're at 408, right? 406, something like that. $6 a share on a $400 stock. That's good risk reward if this gets back up to 500, 475, 500 area. Worth watching. If you want to play it, yeah, it's good risk reward in that channel, in my opinion. Not something I will play personally. I would like to see more volume. I mean, it's decent volume. It's not terrible. But yeah. Alright, CLH. Is that earnings? It must be earnings. I feel like I saw this name not too long ago. Yeah, November 12th is earnings. 10% short float, 1.1 million volume. Beverages. What do they serve? What kind of alcohol do they serve? I'm assuming it's alcohol, because I'm drinking a beer. That's not a bad assumption. I don't know what they sell. Probably should know that, but alright, let's take a look. We got a power earnings gap. We got a next day little move, and then boom, bigger move up. Now we got a consolidation box going on here. Nice little box to go around this, like that. You could even, if you avoid the tails, like I like to do sometimes, put even a smaller box on it. So you got a nice little consolidation pattern going on this one. Take a look at the lines, and we got a nice horizontal line here that should held. I think that's your risk, 30. Reward being if this breaks above, essentially 34 at this point. I think you got a nice little flag going here in this, and I think this will go higher. But look how long this consolidated on. And it took earnings for it to actually break out. You can see this giant box here, which, I would actually not include that. I would just go here. So you had this giant consolidation period for like 2.5 months. So there's a chance this does nothing, but based on this volume right here, this is huge volume for the stock. Fades off. I think if we break that 34, and even better if you break the 35, which would be all-time highs, right? you're going some on this one. It's gonna see 40. So good one to watch. I think you go long if it breaks 34, and I think you use 30 as your risk. So if you get a dip in here in the next couple days above 30, it's still holding, and so you get in at 31, 30, 31.50 area. It's a good risk reward. DQ. All right, guys. I'm gonna do a couple more on the users, and then I'm gonna do a couple more on my own, and then I'm gonna call it. I've been live for I don't even know how long yet. But I'm gonna end up an hour and 20 minutes. So I'm gonna try to end at an hour and a half because I gotta get up in the morning for the market. CCL. So CCL, just pull up. I think cruises are gonna get shut down. They already have. I think airlines are gonna get shut down again. I think everything's gonna get shut down one more time. Do I know that for sure? No, of course not. No one does. I don't think these have bottomed. Everyone wants them to at this point. I think we're going to get a pullback. I think the next major pullback we get down to this, if we get to 18 again or even lower, I will look to start hoarding some cruises, airlines, travel in general, stocks. But at this time, I think this is overextended for what it's worth. These guys aren't even on the water right now. I'm pretty sure they had to cancel through 2021. We closed some unsecured notes that were due, but I don't know. What's this? Hold on a second. Stalled out earlier in November. Yeah, I don't know. I think they need more time, guys. I just wouldn't play any kind of. I was long Spirit Airlines, I think, at one point, and I got out with a profit barely, but it's not worth it right now. I would say pass until we get through this next wave of COVID. It's my personal opinion, not chart related. I don't like the chart anyways. Let me go back to the chart. Sorry. It broke out, yeah, but I think we're gonna just see a fade back down to this 18 level. So just be aware of that if you're gonna play it. It has a long way to go up, guys. Don't get me wrong. But once it goes, it's got this huge gap basically to fill. It's not really a gap, but I'm calling it a gap. You got a $20 difference right now. So if you're a patient person, yeah, go long. Maybe you get lucky, and maybe it's maybe it just continues going. I just wouldn't risk it right now. DQ. Let's take a look. That's Dairy Queen, right? Right now. Let's see if that's what it is. No, it's not. DACO New Energy Corp. Semiconductor equipment in China. 2% float. Average volume 2.5 million. Earnings were the 23rd. Oh, goodness. Okay. So I thought the chart was still up here. I didn't realize it was down here now. So earnings sucked, I take it? Good lord. That's ridiculous. What did they go bankrupt? Like, okay, this is just hard avoid. Hard avoid. I can't give you any advice on this one. I apologize. I mean, from a technical perspective, and I hate to even say this because it's not. Do not take this as advice. Whatever you do. This 4760 area, if it breaks it, could gap fill. But stock is not going to gap fill $150. So, avoid. Find out what's wrong with that company, because obviously something was wrong in that earnings. So just kind of figure that out. I don't know, so I apologize. Avoid. All right, I saw a couple other ones. PLTR. This one is overextended. So this is probably the first of many red candles, is my guess. This is probably gonna. So this is gonna do this. Look. So we already looked at a chart similar to this. See this one? See how this did this? This is that candle. So this on this CRSR PLTR is doing the same thing. We're gonna get a pullback. It's overextended. Too many people in it. Too many chasers at this point. Let's see what did it do. So basically, it just gapped up and crapped, and then consolidated. I'm sorry, gapped up, crapped, and then closed here. And that was at the 27 area. I think we open even or gap down again. That's my thought process. Avoid until it bottoms, and I think the bottom's going to be an MA bounce or some kind of hammer candle. That's the only two things I'd look for. Volume is still there. Obviously, it's getting bigger. Crazy volume when you think about it. I'd be more on the short side on this one. Now, with that said, if this decides to consolidate tomorrow and then break above like this previous high, it's gonna go nuts. It's gonna be at $50 probably, way overextended. Not something you want to go long and play though. KNDI. This one I saw recently. Can't remember what I was looking at it for, but a lot of volume, but trailing off. If it stays, I don't know the company. I can't recommend too much on it. I don't even see much, honestly. I don't know. I'm literally going to say I don't know on that one. So, like this just boggles me from a chart perspective, without knowing the company or what the news was or whatever it may be. This looks like promotion, front run, someone consolidated, bought everyone's shares, and now is dumping them all up here. That's what that looks like to me. But obviously, a clear-cut line here that it couldn't break, right? It fell off that, so you look for that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with no. Back to PLTR. Yes, I'm aware of the Citron downgrade on Friday. It wasn't really a downgrade. I mean, it was a tweet essentially. Citron is not wrong, but Citron plays or purposely does their tweets at A, certain times, and B, when it's in their favor. So you have to realize that Citron was most likely took a huge short position in that stock previous to that tweet. And as soon as that tweet comes out, they start covering their position. So always realize that with Citron. By the time you read the tweet, you're too late. But yes, they did downgrade it, saying it was like a $5 stock or something like that. But that doesn't matter in the scheme of things. Because realistically, if there's enough momentum behind the stock, it's going to do whatever it wants. Whatever Citron says doesn't mean it's going to happen. Citron does have a good record, don't get me wrong. But don't always go with that. Because if this consolidates, and like I said, if this makes a new high, you realize how big that short squeeze is going to be. It's going to be ridiculous. So just keep an eye on it. It's not something I would play either way, short or long. Just keep an eye on it. All right, I'm going to keep going on the list. I do not do this every Sunday. I do live stream during the day once in a while. I do have a full-time job, so it's tough for me to do it because I have conference calls during the day. However, I do get one in once in a while. I haven't recently. You can look at my YouTube channel. I got a couple of different ones previously. And a couple like, I know I have like one video on the play I do, which is a peg, second day, red-green move, that I love playing. But yeah, if I might do more of these, not as long as this one, because this is my first one back. I thought I'd do a little extra. I didn't get through nearly what I wanted to on it, but it works for now. Piton. So this is like COVID stock right here, because this is made out the best, I feel like, because of COVID. But so we had a nice run up here. Now we're in kind of a down phase, and then this gap right here, is that going to be earnings? Let's take a look. I should know this because I have been tracking this stock, but there's a lot of stocks out there, guys. November 5th. So yeah, it was earnings. I thought so. Gap down earnings. So what you would have expected on this stock is when it broke this, which was this day, it would have continued this gap fill, but it got shot down again. But it did hold, and then it tried it again, and it got shot down again. So my thought process on this one is this is not going to be a clear-cut gap fill. It's going to be a slow gap fill until it, and this is going to sound weird, it's a slow gap fill till it's not. So we got this box we can put in here, right? Put it there. That you're basically working in right now. And I feel like as long as the trend line stays going at this point, remember, I don't really care about tails too much, stays above that, within that box, you have a good risk reward long position for a Piton. But that was 11.9. What was the earnings day then? The earnings day was the 5th. So what, November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that was earnings. The 12th was 6, 7, 8, 9. 12th would have been like here. This is the dump for the yeah. So this red candle right here is probably the dump on COVID news. Is that you're referring to? But this gap is from earnings, and that's what we're really, because we're in the box. So as long as we're in the box and that trend line holds, you're good risk reward. Right now, you can see this 10 MA is acting as support. You can see it held there, held there, held there, held there. Like that's a great area to go long. Even if you got 110, you're at that point tomorrow. This line goes up to almost 105, so you're risking $5 a share on a $110 stock to possibly get to all-time highs, which is 140. Am I bullish on this? I can go either way. Am I bullish because of the technical pattern? Yeah. This gap right here needs to be filled, and I think that's your first target. Is right here at that 121 level. If you go long, so you got a 105 risk, so a $5 risk. If you go 110, I mean that's generous. I mean, chances are you get in lower than 110. And gap fill back up to 121. $5 risk to what, $10, so it's 2 to 1. But essentially, if you gap fill, it's chances are it's going to keep going. So I think it's more than 2 to 1. But for sake of this, it's about 2 to 1. I do not do options. I only do stocks. I'm terrible at options. I don't know enough about them, and I don't have the time to learn it at the moment. I will at some point. JD, we did do. I will bring up the chart again for you, but we did do that one already. Here's the flag that I mapped out on it earlier. You can see it's holding the 20-day so far. This one is on my top watches. I have a couple top watches for tomorrow. I only got about 5 or 6 of them on there right now, but that's one of them. I think this one has a big move. Big move. Tomorrow. I will be going along this tomorrow. I'm hoping for a red open that goes green. That's my goal. Couple we haven't gone through real quick. I'm not going to map anything out, but that I do have positions in, or will have positions in. DraftKings, I have a long-term position, very small but long-term. I will look to go long this if it retests that 50 area breakout. That would be my area if it holds to go long. CYRX, I am long. I am also down. I think I'm long from 49 area, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm a little bit in the red on that one, but you can see this is a clear-cut bottoming pattern after a big gap. So what I'm looking for is a gap fill on this one. Obviously, you can draw a line in the sand here. That's your 44 area right now is probably be my stop loss on that one. And we'll go from there. Kirk, I am long. I was long a lot. I bought overnight here, sold into this gap up. Majority of my position, I still have some. Not ideal. I was trying to play the earnings run up, which I think the earnings are out Monday, maybe? December 3rd, sorry. So I'm still thinking this runs a little bit more. I think we might get 16, so I do have that half position. Maybe it might even be a third position at this point, but I do have some of that. LAC, I sold this before the breakout of 12 on Friday. And the reason I did is exactly because it did what it has been doing, and it's been pissing me off because the stock should be breaking out hardcore, and it's not. It keeps giving it all back hard, like really bad. So you could see this was that 12. Oh crap! I thought I had horizontal line. This 12 was a clear-cut breakout area for it, and it did it, but it couldn't hold it. If you look over here, it did it with ease. If you check out right here, it did it within a minute. Didn't take it long to break out. Went up. This would have been perfect if this held and then this continued, then consolidated and went higher. That would have been the absolute perfect breakout for the stock. But instead, it sold off, consolidated, and then fell off again. We closed right around here, and then it started to gap up. So we might get a gap up on Monday. If it can close above 12 this week, it could be a good risk reward to go long to get back to highs. But we'll go from there. Baba, yes. Screw Baba. Sorry. I don't like that stock. I got caught when they got the big sell off. I got caught in that and lost money. Matt, I was on my list. I was long this for the 15 breakout. It broke out and continued to 16. Wish I held some. Did not. Oh well. Microsoft. Same boat as Apple and Netflix and all those big names. I think we're going to get a rotation into them this week. So do watch this one. We got this box that's trading in again. I've been showing you guys these boxes all night. This one could even go back to here in theory. It's just been up, down, bouncing off this bottom, bouncing off the top, but now it's creating kind of a flag. So watch that one. Net broke out finally. Went up. Could continue, could consolidate. I think it's not good risk reward to go long now. So avoid now, let it consolidate, do something. NLS, interesting name here. I do like this one from a risk reward perspective based on where it is right now. You got clear cut bottoming pattern here. But then you also got, that's not the line I wanted. You got a trend line going from here. You could argue that goes something like that. And you're looking for a breakout there of that flag. So that breaks out of that bottoming pattern, in my opinion. And I think you get a nice move back to that 23 at the easiest, if not it gap fills. So watch this NLS. This will most likely, if I'm not mistaken, this will run with Piton probably, or opposite of it. I'm not sure. I have to look at the correlation between the two, but keep it on your list. Watch NVIDIA. We went through PEIX. We could see higher on this one. Let's see. It didn't have a nice run up. Oh crap! I hate these lines. Sometimes I have the wrong ones. Had a nice run up. Come on. 750 clear cut. Gap fill. Not gap fill. I'm sorry. Clear cut resistance. Bounced off that. Came back down. I sold some into it. I still got a position, I think, in it. I'd have to double check. I will probably add back my position to that since I sold, made money. And then go from there. Yeah, I will get you that Arlo in 1 second. I'm almost done for the night, guys, so I'm going to do that Arlo and a couple more of mine, and I'll be done. Pen, it's going to go all-time highs. Just watch it for the breakout. I was long it. I sold it. I'm going to go back long it. So for all-time highs. I don't like playing all-time highs. I like Penn from a long-term perspective. I'm going to try to keep it as long as possible on the next buy. PayPal, all-time highs. Another breakout there possibly happening. Just wait for it. Pins, all-time highs, breaking out again. Overextended at this point, I think. I think you gotta wait for this one. Rad, interesting one here. You can see it kind of gapped up, gapped down, and now it's coming back. This is a known runner. Basically, this one went crazy one time, so I think, it's trying to gap fill here, obviously. I think we get a nice gap up and run on this one, so that's why I have it on there, but I'm not sure 100% what that one's going to do, so I just like to keep it on the radar. Rocket. IPO, not a huge fan of IPOs, but this one, I'm waiting for everyone to forget about it, basically, and get long somewhere below 20. I'm looking for 20 to break. It hasn't done yet. It may not do it, but if 20 breaks, I get long, because I think this company has a lot to offer over the long run. Not just from the tech, that's not a technical chart analysis, that's just me saying I like the company. Snap, all-time highs. Solo is another interesting one. Had a nice inside day candle, and then another inside day candle. Watch for that one to really explode again. Kind of sitting on that 10-day. A little bit overdone, so it may just fail, but you got clear-cut levels, I think, if you draw them there. 750 obviously being one, and then you can kind of go from there. Correct, Rocket is, but they have their fee structure right, from what I understand, from what I saw. So no, we already went over SPWR, we went over SQ, another one that just keeps going. Can't recommend going long, but I do like it long term. I gotta wait for the setup. Sun W, made a ton of money on this one. If you could have gotten in back at 3s, it was a great call. I did get in there. I sold in the 6s. It was great. Look for another consolidation pattern to start up here, and then when solars take off, this one will take off. So this is like my solar background play that I like. So keep it on your radar. Tesla all-time highs, 600 is going to break this week, guaranteed. I'm almost positive on that. I think we're going to have another situation where people are trying to short it again, and it's just going to keep going. 900 probably. Who knows? I'm just kidding. I don't think it's going to be 900, but you never know with this stock. Don't try to short it. Not an ideal spot to long it, but it's just going nuts. TSM, another one I like. I am long. Setting up, had a peg and a flag. I think it gets above 100 this week at some point. Like I said, I am long, so I'm hoping for a gap up and a run. Short term, maybe 110 we're looking at is what I'm looking for, but we'll see. VSF had a huge run. I was long in the 7s, I think. Yeah, I was long here in 770 or something like that, and I sold into 850s, I think. And I should have held, but is what it is. Overextended, runs with the weed pot stocks. ZM, gap filling currently in process. I think we get there. So look for short term for it to stop around 483. But I think if we get there, we test 500, fail, and then consolidate, and then break through 500. So I've been long this one and sold it a couple times. If we get any kind of gap down or sell off because of COVID vaccine news, which is kind of market news dependent on ZM, that's what's happening with this one. So I will go long it again. I think long term, good company, gets back to 600 at some point. All right, that is almost all the stocks. What was the last one? Arlo. Arlo. Alright, Arlo. What is Arlo? All I can think of is the wireless cameras. Oh, it is them. Okay. Good company, if I might say so myself, from a product perspective. But let's look from the stock perspective. About 1 million shares. Average float is about 5%. Earnings were November 5th, which would have been here somewhere. Let's check. November 5th. Right here was earnings, this candle. What did the earnings do? Let's take a look. Q3 loss, but top revenue estimates. So they had a loss, but they topped the estimates of the loss. So kind of in the same boat as most stocks. So you can see there was a clear, kind of, I say clear, but it's not really clear, I guess. There is a trend. There was a trend, you can say. Something along the lines of that. Right? Trending down. See that? And you can draw that line. So this was trending down. I think it finally has broken out a little bit. And it came back and retested this MA. You might be in the clear to go long on this stock. I didn't realize it was only $5. I didn't even look at the price. Not bad risk reward here, I think. Using the MA, use the 10-day MA as your stop loss, just to be sure. But I like the fact that it's testing it, and you should see a reversal higher. Looks like a slow mover though, for the most part. Would have liked to see more of these volume spikes like this. That's obviously it probably wasn't earnings of some kind. But we got a red one here, which isn't the greatest. I wish it was green. But I don't know, not terrible. But you can see that kind of downward flag. I'd just be concerned if it broke those MAs. 5 being your risk probably, which is kind of a big number if you're getting it at 560. It's 20, 18%, I think 15%, something like that. But anyways, all right, guys, I'm gonna cut it there. I did an hour and 45 minutes of charts. Feel free to go back. It will take a while to upload, but feel free to go back in the morning, fast forward through my nonsense to the charts that you want. I wish I could put a space in or like a timer thing for every single chart, but I don't know that I'll have time to do that before the market opens tomorrow. So I'll just leave the video uploaded as is. I appreciate everyone joining. Hopefully it helped you guys. And feel free to leave comments or whatever, and I'll get back to you guys. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Make some money. Alright guys, talk to you soon.